Howdy. I'm Grey Pilgrim. Well, I've just been figuring out how to do these shorts and decided, yeah, they do add up to a few more subscriptions, but I don't know if they're just worth it or not, because you can't make any money off of them. I'm not going to make any money off anything I do anyway, but it's just, I think that the whole concept of the short is ruining YouTube. Just my own opinion, because the fact is, you can't. YouTube is not TikTok, and its paradigm is not the same as TikTok's. YouTube creates a creator community, and I've noticed that because I'm part of the GunTube community. Only I'm really lower tier, but I've met a lot of folks because of it. A lot of other people who are enthusiasts who are really just some of the nicest people on earth. And if you're doing shorts and all you're doing is shorts, well, you don't know. Oh, that's 11 Bang Bang, or that's AR American, or that's a firearms addict. But I know that. You don't know that because their videos don't say it's so and so on them, and unless you subscribe to them already, and then you get. Well, I don't even get the shorts on 11 Bang Bang unless I look for them. I don't know what the heck's going on with YouTube. YouTube sucks these days. It just sucks. Anyway, that's not what I came to talk about. Many years ago, I was wandering down the street in a little town near me, and I walked into a gun shop down there that was run by the nicest old fellow that I knew. And he could talk your ear off. Boy, he knew more about more guns, and he collected more guns than anybody I knew around here. And he had quite a collection. He had quite a collection of knowledge in his head too. Anyway, this day I looked down at the glass case like I usually do for new pistols and the like, and I thought, and there it was. He had a Luger. Now, since I was a teen, I have always dreamed of owning a Luger, and this one was under $1,000. It's 900 and some odd. And I turned to him and says, hold that thought. Got in my car, drove hell-bent for leather back home, dug through my lock case, and pulled out my one remaining Krugerrand. That's a 1-ounce gold coin. I took it down to a place I knew in the same town, of a fellow who deals in gold and silver and collectibles and the like, and said, how much? And he said, let me check the daily spot value on gold. And he did, and I forget if it was like 1,200 or 1,400, something like that. So I sold it to him, and then with that in my pocket, cash, I walked down the street to the gun shop, plopped it down, and says, I'll take it. And I finally had a Luger. It's a gun I've always wanted, and I finally have one. There's just something about a Luger. This, by the way, is a commercial model. It's 30 Luger. It's not 9mm, but it's made just like the 9mm. I mean, it even has a little stock cut out over here for that. It's just like the Swiss model, only it doesn't have a grip safety. But this particular one I know was made for import into America because it says made in Germany on it. And that's the way they marked all of the U.S. imports. Well, I finally had one. It's marked DWM on top, which, by the way, in case you didn't know, stands for Deutsches Waffen- und Munitionfabriken. That's what it stands for. It's a conglomerate that was put together to make weapons for Germany. And they did a very good job of it, obviously. This one was made by, this particular kind of Luger was made by many, many manufacturers over the years, but DWM was the first. And this one is in pretty good shape if you look. I mean, it's still got some bluing on it. It's not pristine. It's got dings and nicks and tarnishes and everything. And the checkering on here is worn, but it's still you can still get a grip on it. And the thing about a Luger is it's made so ergonomic. I mean, take a look at that. I mean, in terms of pointability, in terms of lining up with your wrist, this is one of the most brilliant designs ever, in my opinion. And I always wanted one. Anyway, I remember right after buying this, I decided I wanted to take it out shooting. Well, my sister has some property on the other side of the highway. And I asked her if I could go over there and set up a little shooting range, which she said yes, and I did. And I had some targets up against the hill there. The hill's actually, it's a ridge. And the hill, it has a backstop. It's great. Problem is, it's only a pistol range because if you keep walking back, you're going to fall in the pond. Anyway, I'm out there shooting and enjoying the heck out of myself when a fellow whose house is up on the hill there comes down with his girlfriend and says, "What's going on down here?" I said, "Not to worry, I've got permission. Sister's property," and she said it was okay. And he says, "Is that a Luger?" I said, "Yeah." And he said, "I've always wanted to shoot one of those." And I said, "You wanna?" And he took a couple of rounds and shot at the targets. And he says, "Oh, that just feels so right." And his girlfriend is standing there looking at both of us and going, "Roll eyes, men." And we just chatted for a little while. And then he and she went back up the hill to go back home. And I said, "Well, I'm going to be making a little bit of noise for a little while, but I won't be here long." And it was just kind of neat because I fulfilled my childhood dream and I sort of helped fulfill his in a way. Anyway, after getting this, I decided, well, I needed to know more information. Well, I had this book, so I looked in it. It says, "How to Load, Operate, Disassemble, and Assemble American, German, Italian, Japanese, Russian, and Other Military Small Arms." The only book of its kind ever published. And this is published in 1943 by W.H.B. Smith of Smith & Smith, Small Arms of the World. And it's just chock full of information, including on the Luger. But it's just a little article on the Luger. Well, then I wanted to know how to take it apart. So I got this book, which is A Collector's Guide to Military Pistols and Revolvers, Disassembly and Reassembly. And it's by Stuart Mowbray and Joe Polico, whatever. But it has, if you look at it, it has every gun you could ever imagine how to take them apart and put them back together. From the Nambu to the Tokarev, to the model 1922, to the Steyr-Hahn, all of them. Here's a Bergman. This book can keep you just occupied for hours looking, if you're into the gadget factor. Well, that gave me some information, but this one gave me a lot of information. The Luger book by John Walter. And it's just everything there is to know about the Borchardt and Borchardt Luger handguns, 1885 to 1985. I've actually held a Borchardt once. Couldn't afford it, but I held it once. Gorgeous thing. Totally not ergonomic at all. George Luger took the Borchardt and made an ergonomic pistol out of it. But the Borchardt was not ergonomic. Also, I bought this. This is called the Handbook to the Catalog of Lugers. Identification and Pricing for All Military, Commercial, and Contract Models by Aaron Davies. And I looked mine up with all the markings and stuff and discovered this is indeed an American contract one from 1922. And it's just, I knew what it was because of, Made in America on it. But I found out, he had the serial number and everything in here. And it said, yes, this is part of a contract with America where they sent a whole bunch of them over here. I could find out where it was shipped to and, check out the trail to some degree on who owned it and stuff. But, why bother? It's mine now. And I finally, like I said, I'm an old man, but I finally have my childhood dream right here in my hand. And it's a fun dream. It is. I don't need to justify it to anybody, including a woman anymore. But it's this is something I've always wanted, and I finally got it. Now, if I could only find a Schwarzlose and a Fromer stop, I wouldn't be satisfied, but that would go a long way towards making me satisfied. Anyway, that's about all I had to say. Happy trails.